This is TWiT.
Bitwarden has acquired Passwordless.dev. And I'll admit that my heart skipped a beat when I saw the words Bitwarden and acquired near each other. Like, I thought, no, please. But I breathed a welcome sigh when I saw that Bitwarden was the one doing the acquiring and not the other way around. And who and why they purchased was even better news. Bitwarden has acquired the 2-year-old EU-based startup Passwordless.dev. It's kind of cool too. If you go to Passwordless.dev, it's nice big familiar Bitwarden blue, and they've salted Bitwarden a few times on the page to let you know that they're now a Bitwarden company. So why did they acquire the group? Because they are a company specializing in FIDO2 Webauthn authentication solutions.
Passkeys.
Yep. And that's what that means. Passkeys are in Bitwarden's future. So here's what Bitwarden had to say in their announcement of this. They said today, which was last Wednesday, Bitwarden announced that it has acquired European-based startup Passwordless.dev, a significant milestone in rounding out the Bitwarden commitment to offering open-source, scalable, and secure passwordless solutions to every business and end user. Founded in 2020, Passwordless.dev provides a comprehensive API framework that minimizes complexities for developers seeking to build passkeys and FIDO2 Webauthn features such as Face ID, Fingerprint, and Windows Hello. Passwordless.dev trims down the development work around cryptographic operations, technical flows, and more. What used to take weeks can now be accomplished in minutes. What is that we were talking about, like cutting and pasting, Leo? FIDO2 Webauthn plays an important role in improving digital security. Passwordless.dev's Swedish founder started Passwordless.dev as an open source project with an aim to make passwordless authentication more developer friendly and ultimately to help eradicate phishing attacks that lead to costly data breaches. Passwordless.dev unlocks the imagination of developers, giving them the right tools needed to accelerate passwordless authentication for global enterprises. For enterprises with existing commercial and homegrown applications, integrating modern passwordless authentication flows is resource intensive. Passwordless.dev accelerates enterprise security transformation, providing an API framework to quickly turn existing applications into more secure, passwordless experiences for users. So, this is very cool. I mean, if nothing else, Bitwarden's acquisition moves Passwordless.dev onto everybody's radar. Suddenly it's like, what? What is this? There's an open source solution that will allow us to drop in a module and immediately get passkeys or FIDO2 Webauthn authentication. Great. So they wrap up saying together, Bitwarden and Passwordless.dev provide a turnkey solution built on the FIDO2 and Webauthn standards that are defining the future of passwordless. Is that going to be a noun now? Oh. As part of this announcement, Bitwarden is excited to launch the Bitwarden Passwordless.dev beta program, giving enterprises, developers, and security enthusiasts the opportunity to test and provide feedback on the product. For more information on the beta program, please visit, and that's the site, Passwordless.dev. And the announcement goes on to show a development timeline with passkey support shown as coming this year, 2023. So, yay. In some other Bitwarden news, last week, Bitwarden increased their default client-side PBKDF2 iterations to 350,000. At this point, this only applies to new accounts, and it's unclear whether they plan to upgrade existing accounts automatically, though, as we'll see in a second, they're aware of the issue. One of the biggest lessons that LastPass's missteps taught everyone is that updating key derivation function difficulty retroactively or retrospectively is crucial for long-term user security. Then, this morning, when I was putting the finishing of the podcast together, their tweet over on Mastodon. Do you call it a tweet? What do you call it, Leo?
It's a toot.
A toot. Great. Their toot. Like beans?
Yeah. Well, it's an elephant.
Of course. Perfect.
Yeah.
So they tooted. They said, in addition, this is, as I was saying, it was 42 minutes old when I saw it this morning. In addition to having a strong master password, default client iterations are being increased to 600,000, as well as double encrypting these fields at rest with keys managed in Bitwarden's key vault, parens, in addition to existing encryption. Their toot goes on, the team is continuing to explore approaches for existing accounts. So they get that. And they finished, in the meantime, the best way to protect your account is with a strong master password. See more information here. And they have a nice looking password strength meter. It's at bitwarden.com/password-strength. And I poked around at it a little bit, and it does a good job. It's not impressed by my haystacks style passwords, with a lot of repetition in them, which would be difficult to brute force because it recognizes there's not a lot of raw entropy there. But so it's a passable meter, and it did like the password that I'm using as my master password over in Bitwarden.
You probably said it, but I'll say it again. Bitwarden is a sponsor. We should disclaim, disclaim that.
Yes, I'm glad you did.
But we do like them too.
And everybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay, and OWASP. In other news, not to be left behind, OWASP has also just increased their recommendation for PBKDF2.
Oh.
Remember, it was 350,000.
Yeah.
Now it's also 600,000.
All right. I said it to 2 million. I said it to the max. I think I'm good for a while.
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Why
not? Yeah.
Yes. So this is in response to, the growth in performance and availability of high-power cracking hardware rigs. And finally, it appears that Bitwarden may be moving to the use of Argon 2 PBKDF. Okay, now remember, PBKDF itself is an abbreviation for password-based key derivation function. Unfortunately, it, as PBKDF2, is also the name of an actual PBKDF. So that can be a little confusing. I've not yet looked closely at Argon 2, but it's clear that it's going to need to have a podcast of its own here coming up pretty soon because we need to know what that's all about.
Well, and you remember one of our listeners did do an script plugin, a pull request for that, and I guess they looks like they don't want to opt for that. Is there a reason you would choose Argon 2 over script? They're both memory hard, right?
They are, and I, again, not having looked at them, I can't comment on either of them. I implemented script myself for Squirrel, so I know all about it. But presumably Argon 2 is, better.
Well, it won the.
There
was some competition some couple of years back.
Yes. There was a key strengthening competition, and Argon 2 was the winner. Although its initial implementation had a side channel leakage problem because the path it took was dependent upon the password that it was being asked to strengthen. That's all. Well, that's also the case with script. As far as I recall, my decision was that because this was being done on the client only, that side channel wasn't a problem, because if you already had some compromise on your client, the jig was up. They could just be logging your keystrokes and grab the password when you type it in.
Right.
So that was a deliberate decision on my part, but there are variations of Argon 2 since which solve that problem. So I'm sure the one that's being used is the one that, for why not get side channel protection, while you're at it.
Is that an iPhone in your hand? Wait a second, is that an Apple Watch on your wrist? And do I see an iPad sitting there on the table? Oh my goodness! You are the perfect person to be watching iOS Today, the show where Rosemary Orchard and I, Micah Sargent, talk all things iOS, tvOS, watchOS, HomePod OS. It's all the OSs that Apple has on offer, and we show you how to make the most of those gadgets. Just head to twit.tv/iOS to check it out.